Hi, I'm Beth with TB Properties Buys Land. In the past several videos, we have discussed the costs of selling your land. First, in getting it ready to list, next, in the marketing and sales process of it, and in today's video, we're going to discuss closing costs. Okay, so what does that mean when it comes to closing costs? There are two different scenarios that you would be walking through. One in which you've sold your property yourself, you marketed it yourself, found a buyer for your property. And the second scenario is when you're using a realtor. Okay, so if you are selling the property yourself, regardless of whether you're selling it yourself or through a realtor, there's closing fees that are involved. Okay, and these are generally called out on your contract. One, there are escrow fees if you're closing through a title company. Okay, so the buyer and the seller generally split the closing costs, the escrow fees that are paid to the title company. Now this is up for negotiation, and one side can pay both. So that is possible, and be ready for that. You might have to agree to pay all the closing costs in order to sell your property. Another item on the closing fees are title insurance. Most of the time, you want title insurance for the property, so there's a fee to that. And that is going to be a percentage generally of the sell price of your property, okay? There may be excise taxes, okay, the taxes in selling the property. There may also be, or there should also be, recording fees that are paid to the county. Okay, so these are all fees. What about property taxes? Are those paid up in full? If not, generally those will be prorated and paid at the time of closing. Okay, so as a land seller, if you're doing this yourself, it's very easy to reach out to a title company that's licensed to sell or to transact within the county where your property is located and ask them, can you please provide me an estimate of what the closing costs are going to be? That way you have an idea of what to remove from the profit. Okay, now if you're working with a realtor, understand that all these closing costs are going to be included, but you're going to have an additional realtor fee. Now, if the buyer has a realtor, they may have realtor fees, and then if you've used a realtor, you'll have a realtor fee as well. Again, we talked about this in earlier videos. A land realtor will often split 10% of the sale price, okay? So it's 10% of that sale price, not your profit, is going to go and be split between the realtors. That's a good amount of money. But do factor that in when it comes to selling your property. Okay, so hopefully this has kind of let you know a little bit about what the closing fees to be expected are. Again, I do recommend if you're working with a title company to reach out and get that estimate. Okay, that can be really helpful to know. If you have not surveyed your land and the title company is saying, hey, we don't have a good survey on file, you have to have a survey in order to close on the property, factor that into your closing costs as well. Okay, and you might want to factor in some time in terms of closing. Title companies, depending on if they're paying cash or if they're seeking a loan, the buyer's seeking a loan, that could take some time. If an appraisal is needed, you're awaiting an appraiser to get out there and be scheduled and get the report back in and get it to the bank or the lender. The lender's got to do their search. So if it's cash, you could be 3 to 4 weeks out. If it's a lender involved, it could be 6, 7, 8 weeks or longer. It just depends on the situation. But hopefully this has answered some questions on the cost of selling your land. There are costs when it comes to selling your land. Again, in getting it ready to list, in marketing it, and then in closing costs. If you don't want to go through all of this, if you want to make this easy, reach out to TB Properties Buys Land. We are real estate investors and we pay in cash. You don't have to get your property ready. You don't have to market your property at all. And best of all, we cover all the closing costs. Okay, when it comes to selling your land, we provide you with a one-page purchase agreement. We close through a reputable title company that is licensed to transact in the county where your property is located. And we're able to close quickly and safely. So we look forward to hearing from you. Feel free to reach out via phone or email across our website, and we'll talk to you then. Thanks.